Heaven Official's Blessing. Chapter 40. Audio source: WuXiaWorldAudiobook.com. At the Paradise Manor. Questions of Xian Le. Maybe it was a figment of imagination, but Hua Cheng's shoulders seemed to have stiffened for a flash of a second. The moment didn't last, and Hua Cheng casually responded, "I did say that the next time we meet I would greet you with my real appearance." Xie Lian grinned. He patted his shoulder and said earnestly, "Not bad." Xie Lian's tone was also casual, nothing more, nothing less, and very simply said. Hua Cheng smiled back, and this time, it was relaxed. They took a few more steps and Xie Lian suddenly remembered something important to confirm with Hua Cheng, and removed the silver chain from around his neck. "By the way," Xie Lian said, "did you leave this?" Hua Cheng glanced at the ring and smiled. "It's for you." "What is it?" Xie Lian asked. "It's nothing important," Hua Cheng replied. "Just keep it for fun." Although that's what he said, Xie Lian knew that this object wasn't something so insignificant. "Then, thank you, San Lang." Seeing that Xie Lian put the ringed necklace back around his neck, Hua Cheng's eyes shimmered brightly. Xie Lian looked around him. "Back at the Gambler's Den you said you were coming here to the Paradise Manor, and I had thought it was something like a brothel or the red light district, but this looks more like a theater." Hua Cheng raised his brows. Grr, what are you saying? I never go to the red light district." Xie Lian was amazed. "Really?" "Of course," Hua Cheng replied. The two approached the black jaded futon and sat down next to each other. Hua Cheng continued, "This is nothing but a place I'd renovate here and there, a residence of sorts. I come and chill here when I'm free. If I'm busy then I'd leave it be." "So it's your home," Xie Lian commented. "Residence," Hua Cheng corrected. "Not a home." "Is there a difference?" Xie Lian asked. "Of course," Hua Cheng replied. "A home has family. A place where someone lives alone is not a home." Hearing this, Xie Lian's heart tightened. By that definition, it's been over 800 years since he had a home. Although Hua Cheng had no trace of loneliness on his face, Xie Lian thought they were perhaps alike. Hua Cheng continued, "If it's home, then even a small place like Puqi Shrine would be better than my Paradise Manor by a millionfold." Xie Lian agreed and smiled. "I didn't realize San Lang is this sentimental. But to make comparisons using my Puqi Shrine, you're really pulling my leg here." Hua Cheng laughed. "What's there to be embarrassed about? Truth to be told, Gerger's Puqi Shrine is small, but it's so much more comfortable than my Paradise Manor. It's more like a home." "Is that so?" Xie Lian said warmly. "Then if you like it, in the future, come over whenever you want. The doors of Puqi Shrine will always open for you." Hua Cheng's face lit up. "Since Gerger says so, then I'll gladly take up your offer. Don't think me annoying in the future." "There's no way," Xie Lian said. "By the way, San Lang, I want to ask you for a favor, but don't know if you'd have the time." "What is it?" Hua Cheng asked. "This is my territory. You just ask, and I'll deliver." After some thought, Xie Lian said, "Before, when I was dealing with the case at Mount Yujun, I ran into this boy who might have originated from my kingdom." Hua Cheng blinked slowly at the word originate, and didn't say a word. Xie Lian continued, "I didn't handle the matter very well, and scared them off. After that I requested for a search without any success. Earlier when I was running around the back alleys of the Ghost City, I thought I had bumped into him. San Lang, you are the lord of this land. Is there any way you can help me find him? His face is wrapped in bandages, and only just ran away from the front steps of the Paradise Manor." Hua Cheng was silent, and stood up to say something in a low voice, face turned away, as if communicating with someone. A moment later he sat down again and smiled. "Done. Just wait." As Hua Cheng was the lord watching over the Ghost City, it'd be much more convenient for him to act. Xie Lian sighed a breath of relief. "Truly, thank you again." "This is nothing," Hua Cheng said. "But you left Lang Qianchu just like that?" If Lang Qianchu was there, straightforward and obtuse, it'd be hard to predict what other nonsense would come out of his mouth and start who knows what kind of trouble. Probably best to meet up later, Xie Lian thought. His Highness Taiwa caused you troubles earlier at the Gambler's Den. Sorry about that. Hua Cheng flashed an arrogant smirk. What are you saying? That didn't count as trouble the slightest bit. The things he broke. Xie Lian started and Hua Cheng laughed. For Gurgur's sake I'll clear his account. He can do as he will so long as he doesn't show his face in front of me. Xie Lian was now curious, and asked, You don't care if there are heavenly officials frolicking about your territory? Could Hua Cheng really be that fearless? Hua Cheng smiled. Of course you wouldn't know about this, but Gurgur, all three realms proclaim the Ghost City a hell of corruption, a demonic chaos, but in reality, everyone wants to come to carouse. So many of the heavenly officials pretend not to care and spoke ill of this place, but behind everyone's back they'd often come in disguise and conduct unspeakable business. I've seen too much. If they don't stir up trouble then I don't care, and if they do, then even better, because they're the ones who intruded first. His Highness Taiwa is like that by nature, so seeing a round of bets of that sort go down, he had to stop it and couldn't hold back, Xie Lian explained. That's his lack of experience, Hua Cheng said plainly. To pick between letting yourself live longer for 10 years and cutting your enemy's life short for 10 years and choose the latter, that's the basis of human hatred. He snorted and crossed his arms. That an idiot like Lang Qianchu can ascend the heavens is truly blind. Xie Lian rubbed his forehead, feeling a little guilty, thinking, you can't say it like that. After all, someone who collects junk like me also ascended. After some hesitation, Xie Lian spoke up again. San Lang, it may be out of line for me to say this, but I still have to say it. That Gambler's Den is dangerous. Won't it blow up in your face one day? A place that allowed the betting of sons and daughters and people's lives, even to drop dead, was dreadfully sinful. Never mind a little brawl. If one day the bets go out of hand, the heavens wouldn't be able to sit back and keep their eyes closed. Hua Cheng gave him a look. Your Highness, did you ever ask Lang Qianchu why he had to rush out? Xie Lian was slightly taken aback, not quite understanding the intent of the question. Hua Cheng continued, I bet he must have told you that if he didn't do it, no one else would. You're right, Xie Lian said. That's exactly what he said. I'm the complete opposite, Hua Cheng said. If I don't control a place like this, then someone else would take control of it. I'd rather that person be me. Xie Lian knew when to step down and nodded. I understand. It looked like although Hua Cheng was someone sentimental, he also cared for control and power more so than Xie Lian realized. Hua Cheng continued. Nonetheless, thank you Gurgur for your concern. Just then, Xie Lian heard a voice that came from the door. A young man said, My lord, I've located the bandaged boy. Xie Lian looked to the front entrance and saw the Sha Xianyu officer from before bowing just beyond the beaded curtain. And the one in his arms was none other than the ragged boy in bandages. Hua Cheng never turned his head. Bring him in. The black-clad youth brought the boy inside and gently laid him on the ground. Xie Lian couldn't help but peek at his wrist again to see whether if there really was a cursed shackle, but the other curtsied and stood down swiftly after delivering the boy. Since there were more important matters at hand, Xie Lian bent down near the bandaged boy and instantly soothed. Don't be scared. It was my fault last time. I won't do it again. The boy's eyes were widened in fear and confusion, but after running away so many times, he no longer had the energy to escape again. He peeked at Xie Lian, then peeked at the lap table on the black jade futon. Xie Lian followed his line of sight and saw he was eyeing a plate of luscious fruits on top of the lap table. The boy must have been hiding for too long and had not eaten. Xie Lian turned to Hua Cheng and before he said anything, Hua Cheng motioned. Do what you want, no need to ask me. It wasn't time to be polite, so Xie Lian uttered a thanks and reached for the plate of fruit before giving it to the boy. That boy grabbed the plate from Xie Lian and started stuffing the fruits into his mouth. It looked like he'd been starved for too many days, and was desperately hungry. Even when Xie Lian was at his worst and starved like a wild dog, he'd never shoved food into himself like this. He didn't know what to say, and only chided gently. "Slow down." After a pause, he attempted, "What's your name?" The boy mumbled and murmured as he ate, as if trying to say something but couldn't do so clearly. He might not have spoken in many years and forgot how to speak, Hua Cheng suggested. Indeed, it did look like this boy didn't speak much, not even to Xiao Ying, and had been like this for a long time. Xie Lian sighed. "We can do this slowly." By then, all the fruits on the plate had been devoured. Seeing that his bandages were soaked in dry blood, covered in black and red spots alike, Xie Lian said gently, "Your face is wounded and it looks serious. Let me take a look." Hearing those words, fear immediately engulfed the boy's eyes. However, after Xie Lian's tireless soothing and encouragement, he sat down once more obediently. Xie Lian came next to him and took out a bottle of medicinal powder from his sleeve, ready to remove the sullied bandages when Hua Cheng intercepted. "Let me do it." Xie Lian shook his head and moved his hands slowly, unraveling the haphazardly wrapped bandages. As he had suspected, although the face of the boy was a bloody mess, all the terrifying little human faces were gone, only large blotches of bright red scars. The last time they met at Mount Yuzhen, there were burns covering his face but not as much blood. This boy must have used a knife to cut away those human faces from his own face and left all those scars. Xie Lian's hands trembled softly as he rubbed the medicine in. Hua Cheng caught his wrist and said again, "Let me." Xie Lian shook his head again and gently pulled his hand free, and said in a low voice, "No, let me do this myself." 800 years ago in the Xianla kingdom, many who contracted this disease, without any other way, all chose this route of self-mutilation. It was hell on earth. Some would miss their target and cut where they shouldn't and die from blood loss. Some, although successful in removing the small human faces, never healed from those wounds. As Xie Lian wrapped new bandages around the boy's head, he realized that his features were actually quite proper, his nose straight and refined, his eyes black and clear. He should have been a handsome young man if not for this ghastly disease. He was like many others before him. Even if he cut away the distorted human faces, his face would still forever be nightmarish, unable to recover. Xie Lian finally finished wrapping the new bandages and asked with a shaky voice, "Are you from Xianla?" The boy turned to look at him with his big eyes, and Xie Lian repeated his question several times but he only shook his head. Xie Lian then asked, "Then where are you from, exactly?" The boy answered with much Yang'an. This boy was from Yang'an. Xie Lian felt his sight go dark, and he blurted out, "Have you ever met Bai Wuxiang?" Bai Wuxiang, the origin of plagues, the symbol of misfortune. This supreme often donned a snow-white funeral garb, a spirit-calling banner in hand, and a cry-smile mask on his face. This mask was called this because half of it was smiling, and the other half was crying. Together, it was hard to tell whether if the wearer was smiling or crying. If he should be seen anywhere, it would mean that place would soon be doomed to ruin, and the world would fall to chaos. Xie Lian could remember clearly the first time he met Bai Wuxiang. He was standing on the top of the highest tower of Xianla Palace, his face covered in grime and tears, lost and bemused as he gazed below to his kingdom. Within his blurry vision, there stood a white silhouette among the fields of corpses just outside the fortress walls, his giant white sleeves fluttering, obvious and distinct. Xie Lian dropped his head to look down at him, and that white apparition also raised his head to look at Xie Lian, and waved at him directly. That cry-smile mask was the nightmare Xie Lian couldn't chase away even after hundreds of years.